Imagine being attacked by creatures so small you barely see them until hundreds of them swarm your skin, injecting venom that burns, rots tissue, or sends your heart racing toward collapse. These aren't monsters from a horror movie, they're ants. And some of them are so dangerous, a single sting can send a healthy adult straight to the emergency room. Welcome back to Top Wonder, the place where we uncover the deadliest, strangest, and most unbelievable creatures on Earth. Today, we're counting down the 10 most dangerous ants in the world. They don't roar, they don't have fangs the size of knives, but inside their tiny bodies are venoms and behaviors powerful enough to kill pets, livestock, and even people. From swarming armies to stings more painful than bullets, you're about to see how terrifying ants can really be. Let's begin. Number 10. Green tree ant. The green tree ant looks almost beautiful at first glance. With bright green bodies and orange-brown heads, they weave intricate nests out of living leaves high in the trees of Asia and Australia. But beneath that beauty is a fiercely territorial predator. When their nest is disturbed, hundreds of workers pour out at once, racing along branches, ropes, and even human arms to bite and spray formic acid into the wounds. A single bite is painful but manageable. Dozens of bites, however, feel like your skin is on fire. For people with sensitive skin or existing allergies, this can escalate into swelling, rashes, and, in rare cases, trouble breathing. In some villages, children who played too close to green tree ant nests have come home covered in bites, with arms and legs burning red for days. They don't have the most toxic venom in the ant world, and they're unlikely to kill you outright. But what makes them dangerous is their speed, their numbers, and their willingness to attack anything that touches their territory, including you. Number 9. Driver ant. Safari ant. Driver ants, often called safari ants, form some of the largest and most frightening ant armies on Earth. A single colony can contain millions of individuals that march in living rivers across the forest floor. Anything that cannot escape, worms, insects, snakes, even small mammals, is overwhelmed, bitten, and torn apart. Their mandibles are so powerful that some indigenous people use them as emergency stitches. They let the ant bite a wound closed, then twist off the body, leaving the jaws locked in the skin. Now imagine dozens or hundreds of those jaws clamping into you at once. Each bite is like a tiny pair of pliers crushing flesh. There are real reports of driver ant swarms injuring or even killing people who were unable to move, the very young, the elderly, or the unconscious. One farmer in East Africa collapsed from exhaustion near a marching column. By the time help arrived, his body was covered in thousands of bites. Driver ants don't rely on venom to be deadly. They rely on overwhelming force, relentless swarming, and jaws built to strip flesh from bone. Number 8. Yellow crazy ant. Yellow crazy ants get their name from their frantic, unpredictable movements. They don't march in neat lines or build classic anthills. Instead, they move in chaotic swarms, racing over anything in their path. That would be unsettling enough, but these ants also spray formic acid, a corrosive chemical that burns the skin, blinds eyes, and kills small animals. On Christmas Island, yellow crazy ants have formed super colonies that kill tens of millions of redland crabs, devastating the island's ecosystem. They swarm crabs' eyes and joints, spraying acid until the animals are blinded and weakened, then slowly overwhelmed. Pets and native wildlife are also at risk, suffering burns, eye damage, and, in severe cases, respiratory distress. For humans, their sting is not usually lethal, but encounters with large numbers can cause painful burns, rashes, and allergic reactions. Because they're invasive, they spread rapidly through ports, cities, and farms, bringing their chaos wherever they go. They may not have the deadliest venom, but as a weapon of ecological destruction and painful irritation, yellow crazy ants are truly dangerous. Number 7. Army ant. If there is one ant that embodies the word unstoppable, it's the African army ant or Doralus. These ants don't build permanent nests. Instead, their entire colony forms a living, moving fortress, constantly on the march. At the center is a queen that never stops laying eggs. Around her are millions of workers and soldiers, each equipped with razor-sharp jaws. When an army ant raid begins, the ground seems to ripple. They flow into burrows, up trees, and through nests, overwhelming anything in their path with sheer numbers. Chickens, snakes, and even tethered livestock have been killed because they simply couldn't escape the wave. For healthy humans, the danger is lower, but not zero. People who are bedridden, injured, or trapped can suffer hundreds or thousands of bites, leading to blood loss, infection, or shock. Their jaws are strong enough to draw blood with each bite, and they simply don't stop until the threat is gone or consumed. Army ants don't need venom to be terrifying. They are dangerous because they're coordinated, tireless, and completely without mercy. Number 6. Asian needle ant. Asian needle ants don't look exceptional at first. They're medium-sized, dark-colored, and easy to overlook, but a single sting can change everything. Their venom is powerfully allergenic, capable of triggering rapid-onset anaphylaxis, a severe reaction where the throat swells, blood pressure crashes, and breathing becomes difficult or impossible. Unlike some other ants, Asian needle ants thrive in human-dominated environments. They nest in rotting wood, mulch, gardens, and even under pavements. Gardeners, landscapers, and children playing outside are most at risk. One sting might cause localized pain and swelling, but for people with hidden sensitivities, several stings can send them straight to the emergency room. There have been documented cases in the United States where people went into shock within minutes of being stung while gardening or cleaning up leaves. Paramedics arrived to find victims gasping for air, their throats nearly closed. These ants don't need massive colonies or rivers of soldiers to be deadly. Just a few workers in the wrong place at the wrong time are enough to kill. Don't look away now, because the top 5 ants on this list don't just hurt. Some can cause necrosis, heart failure, or fatal allergic shock, and one of them is so aggressive it will chase anything that moves near its nest. What's coming next is on a completely different level. Number 5. Red imported fire ant. The red imported fire ant is one of the most hated insects on the planet, and for good reason. These ants build hidden mounds in lawns, parks, and fields, then erupt in explosive swarms when disturbed. They first clamp onto the skin with their jaws, then pivot and sting repeatedly, injecting venom that burns like fire, hence the name. The sting leaves behind white pustules that itch and burn for days. But for some people, the reaction is far worse. Fire ant venom can trigger severe anaphylaxis, leading to throat swelling, difficulty breathing, and in rare cases, death. In the United States alone, fire ants are responsible for tens of thousands of medical visits every year. One horrifying detail, they often attack in unison. A person may not even realize they are standing on a mound until dozens of ants have climbed onto their legs. Then, as if on a signal, they all sting at once. They don't just hurt. They overwhelm, suffocate, and terrorize, especially in areas where people live, work, and play. Number 4. Bulldog ant. Found primarily in Australia, the bulldog ant looks like something out of a prehistoric world. It's big, often nearly an inch long, with massive mandibles and a stinger that curves menacingly beneath its abdomen. Unlike most ants, bulldog ants have excellent vision and can lock onto a target from a surprising distance. They don't just defend their nests passively. If they feel threatened, they will actively chase intruders, including humans. Their attack style is brutal. They bite with their jaws, hold on, then sting repeatedly, injecting venom that causes intense burning, swelling, and, in some cases, systemic reactions including dizziness and heart palpitations. There have been confirmed cases of bulldog ant stings causing fatal anaphylaxis, especially in people with underlying allergies. One child in Tasmania died after a single sting near the ankle. Despite rapid medical treatment, the shot progressed too quickly. Bulldog ants are fearless, fast, and aggressive. They don't just defend their territory, they charge it. Number 3. Jackjumper ant. The jackjumper ant, another Australian native, may not look as intimidating as the bulldog ant, but it is statistically more deadly. This species has been directly linked to multiple human deaths due to its potent venom and the frequency of severe allergic reactions it triggers. Jackjumpers get their name from their ability to leap surprisingly long distances relative to their body size, allowing them to launch themselves at threats. Their sting causes sharp, burning pain, followed quickly by swelling, flushing, and in sensitive individuals, rapid onset anaphylaxis. In Tasmania, jackjumper ants are such a significant health threat that specialized immunotherapy programs were developed just for victims of their stings. Between the 1980s and early 2000s, they were responsible for more deaths in that region than snakes and spiders combined. They don't travel in huge swarms or terraform entire landscapes. They don't need to. One angry jackjumper, one well-placed sting, and the clock starts ticking for anyone prone to severe allergic reactions. Number 2. Maricopa harvester ant. If we measure danger based purely on venom potency, the Maricopa harvester might take the crown. Its venom is one of the most toxic of any insect ever studied, estimated to be many times more powerful drop for drop than the venom of a rattlesnake. The sting itself is excruciating, causing searing pain, intense burning, and deep throbbing that can last for hours. But beneath the pain, the venom is attacking tissues, disrupting nerve signals, and putting enormous strain on the cardiovascular system. A single sting is rarely lethal to a healthy adult, but multiple stings, especially to children, pets, or those with allergies, can be catastrophic. Dogs that step into Maricopa nests sometimes receive dozens of stings before they can escape. Some collapse from shock before reaching a veterinarian. Humans who accidentally kneel or sit on a nest can be stung so many times that they experience systemic toxicity, seizures, or loss of consciousness. This ant proves a terrifying point. You don't need to be big to be one of the most poisonous animals on Earth. Number 1. Bullet ant. At the very top of our list is the legendary bullet ant, a rainforest species feared for delivering the most painful sting of any insect known to science. Local victims describe it as like being shot with a gun or having a hot nail driven into the bone. The venom contains a powerful neurotoxin called ponerotoxin, which interferes with the way nerves communicate with muscles. Symptoms include intense, throbbing pain, uncontrollable shaking, temporary paralysis of the affected limb, and waves of agony that can last 12 to 24 hours. Some people faint from the shock alone. In parts of the Amazon, indigenous tribes use bullet ants in initiation rituals, weaving them into gloves that young men must wear. Participants scream, convulse, and sometimes hallucinate from the pain. That's from voluntary exposure. Imagine stepping on a nest by accident. Bullet ants are not usually aggressive without provocation, but when they defend their nests, they do so fearlessly, climbing onto an intruder and stinging again and again. They rarely kill, but in terms of raw, unforgettable terror, no ant on Earth is more dangerous. So which ant terrified you the most? The bullet ant with its gunshot sting, the jackjumper that kills in minutes, or the fire ant that attacks in burning waves? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Top Wonder, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next countdown from the wildest side of nature.